Hi guys, welcome to Crazy Burger. So this is going to be our second part of looking at EVERCADE Classics, some carts that were released back in the start of the EVERCADE console live back in 2020, which I regard as classic carts, which you definitely should have in your collection. If you're new to the EVERCADE, this is probably ideal for you to look at what carts you think should be getting picked up now, and what carts I think are absolutely brilliant. And this one, this is definitely right up there as one of the best carts still available on the EVERCADE. And the cart collection that we're going to be looking at is Mega Cat Studios Collection 1. Without further ado, let's get started with the video. Okay guys, so this for me is definitely one of the early carts that I still regard as being an absolute cracker. It's a classic. Mega Cat Studios Collection 1 has 10 games on it, and there's some absolutely stonking titles on this cart. So if you've not ordered this yet guys, get it sorted. This is the manual. Let's have a quick look at it. So this is probably the first time I got introduced to Mega Cat Studios, that bring a lot of sort of newer retro style games, which is definitely where I think EVERCADE should be focused on. You've got Coffee Crisis, Almost Hero, Creepy Brawlers, Log Jammers, and as you can probably tell, some of these games are based on similar style games of years gone by. You've got Justice Duel, Little Medusa. You got the amazing Tanzer, which many people still regard as being the best game still available on the EVERCADE, and it's probably a difficult one to argue any other game is better than this, but you know, it's not for everybody and it is pretty hard. We got Multi-Dude and Super Painter, and last one on the list is the brilliant Old Towers. Now without further ado, let's get it on the handheld, have a quick look before we blast it onto the VS, and I'll give you all my opinions of all these games. Amazingly, I never actually reviewed this cart on my channel before, so this gives me an opportunity to give you my opinion of this cart. But yeah, without further ado, let's try the handheld. So this is Tanzer, which is probably still regarded as the best game on the EVERCADE. It really does stand out. It's an amazing technical achievement for the Mega Drive, and it still stands up brilliant playing it now. It's a new, absolutely new retro game. It was only released a few years back, and I don't think there's very many platforms you can actually get this game on. You can obviously buy it physical, which costs about, I'm sure it's about $50 to actually buy it in that way, which is just crazy. So you've got it on this EVERCADE cart, and it's basically a complete bargain, and it's a great little sort of Strider-esque style platform slash 'em up kind of thing. It's absolutely fantastic, no doubt about it. It is very tough, right enough. It's kind of an Unforgiven, but as a Mega Drive title or Genesis, it really does stand up, and it's absolutely fantastic. Really love it. Anyway guys, without further ado, let's get this onto the VS. We'll go through each and every game, and I'll give you my opinions and overall thoughts on this EVERCADE Classic cart from 2020. Let's go. Okay guys, here we go, the Mega Cat Collection 1. 10 games, Almost Hero, Coffee Crisis, Creepy Brawlers, Justice Duel, Little Medusa, Log Jammers, Multi-Dude, Old Towers, Super Painter, and Tanzer. An interesting point here is Tanzer's not even included in the front cover of this cart, which, you know, is crazy when you think it's possibly one of the best games on EVERCADE. Really strange, maybe they kind of underestimated the game a little bit. Anyway, without further ado, let's get started with the first game. Okay guys, here we go, Almost Hero. It's a beat 'em up, and it's from 2016, and best thing about Mega Cats is these are all sort of new retro games, so to speak, which is what I'd love EVERCADE to obviously focus on more than sort of older retro. I love playing these new style games. So this game is heavily inspired by River City Ransom, but I'm not totally enamoured with this one, to be honest. This is probably my least favourite game on the cart. I just find it's kind of a, I don't know, not not the greatest example of a beat 'em up. It's obviously an NES version. You can go into the dojo, I guess, you can go to the sewer, you can go through the woods and try and beat up the guys. I don't know. I find the moves are quite limited. You've got punch and kick, and that's pretty much it, really. There's not a lot besides. There's a lot of flickering goes on in this game. Even though there's only a couple of sprites on here, it does flicker like crazy. And I honestly find myself not enjoying this game at all. And if you do lose a life, you go all the way back to the start, which I kind of wonder why. And I've never enjoyed this game. I've tried and tried, but I just couldn't get into it. Really didn't enjoy it, which is a shame. But I'm not going to go too much further into this game. It's definitely my least favourite of this cart. Okay guys, on to the cover game, which is Coffee Crisis. Now this game has been released in a number of formats. I'm sure I've seen it on the Nintendo Switch. And it's a scrolling beat 'em up, again. And it's very, very stylish. There's no doubt about it, it is very stylish. You've got your basic moves as well, jump, attack, grab. So there's a little bit extra moves here than was on Almost Hero, for example. And I'm pretty sure this is the Genesis Mega Drive version. And you can obviously choose co-op version, you can choose your character that you wish to start with. And you're armed with, yeah, a coffee bean bag, or what looks like a kind of a something, a coffee urn or something that you've got there. And that probably is one of the problems with the game itself. Now there's no doubt about it, the presentation, the graphics, the styling, the story, it's all absolutely perfect, top-notch stuff, really impressive. However, I feel that the gameplay is just leaving a little bit to be desired. I just feel as if the moves are a little bit limited and you don't seem to have a lot of effect with your beanbag. You can also pick up other weapons, so to speak, as you go, but honestly it's pretty difficult as well. Okay, so once you're obviously defeated the aliens who are coming down to steal all your coffee beans, apparently, they go back up to their spaceship, I guess. You know, and there's no doubt about it there, it looks really good, it's stylish, but I just find it's just a little bit, I don't know, it's really difficult, and I feel as if your beanbag has very little effect on these enemies. You think if there was weapons out there, beanbag, is that what you would choose as your chosen weapon? I don't know. I suppose that's all part of the humour, I guess. Not sure what this bit is all about. A bit of a crazy story going on. But for me, I've never really got into this game as much. I've just found that the attacking and sort of gameplay mechanics are just a little bit lacking. I don't find myself enjoying it as such, which is kind of a shame, because it's got so much going for it, this game. Now let me know what you guys think. Have you enjoyed this game? Is it just me? I just find the combat itself a little bit lacking, and I just don't really enjoy it as much as I really want to, because it looks fantastic. It's got everything going for it, apart from, I don't know, I just feel as if the beanbag and the attacking mechanics, just there's something missing. That's basically just what I feel. There's something missing in the game. I have made some limited progress through the game to sort of end the level bosses, but I still find it's pretty difficult. I'd really just wish for maybe some better weapons, some better impact to the actual attacking mechanisms. I just feel as if I get absolutely nowhere with this beanbag, and it kind of just frustrates me, to be honest. It's such a shame, because it really could be a top game, but I just find it gets really difficult. I just want something that has more impact than a blinking beanbag. Anyway, that's my thoughts, guys. I just think it could have been so much better, this game. It's got so much potential, but I think it just falls down in a few areas for me. Okay guys, next is Creepy Brawlers. Now again, this one's probably heavily inspired by stuff like Super Punch-Out. It's kind of a, once we get playing, you'll probably figure that out and see why. Let's get started. Now I think this is probably another NES version, I believe. View Patrol, no, let's just get stuck in. What's my controls? Punch, right punch, left punch. Okay, pretty straightforward. I can manage that. Okay. So yeah, it's basically Super Punch Out. You're trying to take this out, and it's not too bad, to be honest. It's okay. Yeah, it's a little bit of a button basher. Oh, this guy's coming back. Alien guy. Ah, no, come on. Oh, darn. Oh, it's over. Anyway, that's pretty much it, guys. It goes on, and I don't think it's one of these games that I'm ever going to come back to. I'm not really into this kind of button bashing style type of game. Kind of a little bit uninspired. It's kind of interesting going back to this cart. Obviously, I remember it as being one of the best carts that was released in the early days of the EVERCADE. And no doubt, there's a few games here that are not quite as good as you might hope they're going to be. But we've not got to some of the better games in the cart yet, so let's bear with it. But there are a few here that you'll probably not return to after initial play. But there are a few absolutely stonking games here, so bear with it. Let's go with Justice Duel. So this has obviously been inspired by a few other games as well, and it's from 2019. It's kind of a strange, quirky little game. I believe you can probably play this a 2, 3, 4 player game perhaps. It's got a kind of a quirky little story going on as well. So kind of like a bit of a joust style game, where you need to take out your opponents that are on the screen. You can choose your characters from some of the old sort of presidents. Not sure what difference it makes. Probably not a lot. Cool, let's go straight to the game. Wave 1. So I think it goes up to about 15, 16 waves or so, I think. So you can get fly, you can try and shoot and actually destroy your opponent. So yeah, it's basically just joust, so to speak. And it's actually quite addictive, it's quite good fun. And obviously the quicker you take out the opponent, the more points you actually get. I found actually myself quite enjoying this one. This one was part of the high score challenge in the Facebook fans hub at some point, and it does get quite addictive. It's really good fun to actually play through. Oh, the graphics are absolutely awful, to be fair. Nothing to shout about, and it is probably quite difficult to see your character, and especially when there's lots and lots of going on in the screen. But there's no doubt it is actually quite good fun to play. I really quite enjoyed it. It's pretty basic, nothing really a lot going on, but it works for me. I really enjoy it. It's pretty addictive, and it really goes on. It gets a little bit more tricky as you go through the sort of levels and stages, but it's definitely a decent game. Don't discount it because it's obviously not a great looking game at all. Okay guys, moving on to Little Medusa. This is a puzzle game. It's difficult to really describe this game at all. I suppose we'll get playing it and we'll see. We'll look at the controls. You can create stones. You can use a petrifying beam and push the stones that you create, and that's quite important to memorise that. So you're basically trying to create paths to collect stars. That's the basics of the game, and it definitely took me a little while to figure out what the heck I was supposed to do. I kept dying a lot and not really sure what the purpose was of the game. It's not totally clear. So I guess, as you can see at the start here, you've got some stars that are on these platforms. You need to sort of petrify these monsters, then push them to create a path, and then collect the stars and complete the level. And that's it. That's as simple as that is what you're really supposed to do. But it's not totally clear that is the purpose of the game. I guess it gets a lot more complicated as you go. But I suppose the first time I played it I really didn't have a clue, and I didn't even make out to level 1, which is kind of crazy to think. You can create paths as well to obviously manipulate where these monsters go so that you can actually get them in the right position. So if you touch them you die instantly, which is kind of annoying. You need to be careful of the snakes because they can just basically jump at you instantly. So you need to be careful then. It gets a bit tricky there. You see that snake's just jumping at me. But I'm going to get to it first. Oh, yeah, you need to be careful of that. Oh, and you start again. So you die, you basically start again. And it basically goes on, I guess, obviously it gets harder as you go. More enemies on screen. And it's one of these ones that definitely grows on you. And once you figure out what you're supposed to do, it obviously helps. But initially it is pretty confusing what the purpose is of the actual game. So yeah, it probably helps to maybe try and create some paths so that you can manipulate these monsters into the correct position that you actually want. You can break the stones as well after you've actually created them. And that's it, so here's level 2 complete. You know, that is quite good, it definitely grows on you. It's one of these ones that will certainly give rewarding experience through extended play. And I think there's about 50 levels. Probably one to play on the handheld, I think, on maybe some long train journeys. Okay guys, let's move on to log jammers, which has clearly been inspired by stuff like windjammers. Kind of obvious. And it's basic, it's a kind of a sports game, so to speak. And it's basically, you need to try and get the object past your opponent. Make more sense once we actually start playing. I believe this probably looks like a NES version again. Could play 1 player or 2 player by the looks of it. Let's go to the tournament. Oh. Okay, choose your character. Don't really think it makes a heck of a lot of difference, but let's go. So I need to defeat all these guys to get to be the best of the best. Okay, so you basically need to try and get this past your opponent to sort of get some points. Obviously, the wherever you land it, the more points you get. Oh. And that's it. It's pretty straightforward, but you know, it's actually really addictive. It's good fun to actually play. I think it's first to 12 points or something like that. And then it's the best of 3 sets, perhaps. Oh, I think this one would be actually fun playing with an opponent as well. I think that would be really good fun on the VS. Pretty tricky, right enough. The opponents seem to always catch it sometimes. You're like, ah, oh. I definitely really like this game. Graphics are a little bit rough, to be honest, but it's still fun. I find myself enjoying this one quite a lot. It does get really hard, but it's good fun. Ooh. This guy's really tough. First to 3, I guess, rather than the best of 3. The moves are pretty basic, to be honest. Obviously catch, chuck. That's pretty much it. Ugh. Then once you've won your 3 sets, you can move on to the next stage. And that's it. Do you know what I really like? It does look really basic and simple, but it's pretty addictive once you actually get stuck into it. So I definitely recommend this one. There's no doubt this character is definitely warming up and getting much better. Now we're transcending into some of the sort of more intricate puzzle games. This one's called Multi-Dude. And as you can see, you can obviously create multi personalities of yourself, so to speak. Multiple stages, multi-dudes, multi-challenges. Let's get stuck into this one. This one will definitely make your brain hurt. Okay, let's get started. Now I'm pretty sure this is another NES version. So the first level, so easy. Just get to the exit. Not much of a challenge there. Oh. So now you see on the second level you've got the option between 2 characters, which obviously is part of the multi-dude, so you need to get both sides to the exit. So once you've got one done, you'll accidentally switch to the other one. Not accidentally, you will switch to the other one. And now it gets a little bit trickier. You can go up and down screens here. Oh, I've absolutely messed up. And then you need to start all over again. Well, if you do mess up, you can really just start again by pressing the select button. Guess. Oh. This. Oh no, absolutely, I've messed up, haven't I? So, how do I switch between the two characters? Let's have a look at the controls. Changed it, so you change between the two of them by pressing the button. And you really just select. So it's pretty basic moves, to be honest, but so you press between the two dudes. But how do we do this without blocking the paths off? Interesting. How do I do that without actually dying? Oh, can I go round the way? Yeah, okay. Got it. So definitely one of those ones that makes you think. Oh. So each of these different coloured characters have different sort of strengths and weaknesses. So obviously that's what guy goes. If you go over the side, you'll just fall. You need to sort of drill your way down. It's pretty smart. It really is pretty clever. Certainly makes your brain hurt and makes you think quite a lot. So this guy, the blue fella, is now trapped in here. He basically floats about. Whereas you need to switch to the green fellow, or dude. Let's burst open by pushing down. And then the blue fellow can now go away. And now I can get the green dude to go as well. Excellent. This game is really, really good, but yeah, I think if I recall, I did get pretty far in the game, but it got stuck because it really started to make my brain hurt. It does get ferociously tricky in what you're supposed to do. Again, this is pretty similar. So how do I do this one? Oh, you need to actually use your blue character, I believe, to move the green one over to where you need them to be. I think. Oh, does that not work? I'm stuck. Haha, I'm stuck. No, that doesn't work like that. Oh, you need to create a path for the green guy to run over. Right, got ya. It's been so long since I've played this game. Okay, I think I've figured it out. So what I need to do is get this blue fellow below the platform so that the green guy doesn't fall all the way down. Oh, no. Can I push him up? No, I can't. And I've just trapped myself. Oh dear. Okay, so I've done that. I need to move the blue guy up as working as a platform so I can get the green guy to go. Yep, done. And that's it. Yeah, guys, this is really good. You love your puzzle platformers. This is absolutely superb. Certainly make you think and hurt those grey cells, that's for sure. Really like it. Very, very good. Okay, guys, here we go. We're on to Old Towers. Now, the next couple of games are kind of similar to Multi-Dude in a way. Not exactly the same, but they have a similar sort of feel to them. Old Towers. Here we go. It's a puzzle game. Basically, you need to get to the exit pretty much the same as Multi-Dude. The game mechanics work in a slightly different way though. I think Multi-Dude was an S version. I'm pretty sure Old Towers is maybe Mega Drive perhaps. Thanks. Okay, so the basic option here, you need to collect all the coins or whatever they are, and you can only move, you can see, one part at a time going up and down. Pretty basic moves. It's not complicated, but it's ferociously difficult. But it's ferociously addictive. I really think this game is very, very good. Yeah, and the buttons that said on screen are completely unmatched to what's on the controller, which is a little bit of a pain. Something I think sometimes that the EverCade gets a little bit wrong. They need to maybe pay attention to that and work on the button mapping so that they actually match sometimes what it says on screen. So yeah, you need to go through the level, collect all these coin things, avoid the bad guys, get to the exit. Pretty straightforward. So it says on the screen press A, but actually in reality defaulted it's press X. Very odd. Okay, so now we've created some platforms here to maybe use as a base to hit. Yep, so we can go up the way. So yeah, you're pretty much stuck to the wall here, so to speak. You need to work out the best way of actually getting there. There we go, we've done it. And get to the one of the exits. There we go, easy. Yeah, I've played this game quite a bit, and I think it's really good, really addictive. I definitely love my puzzle games. I guess if you're not really into your kind of puzzle style games, this one's not really going to do a heck of a lot for you. But obviously there are a few games like this on the cart, so if you're not into that style of game at all, and you might not like this cart quite as much as like I do, I really think this cart overall is really good. And there's certainly a few games here that, yeah, get you thinking. You can get your teeth stuck into. There's a lot of depth in some of these games, plenty of levels to get through. Oh, I died. Anyway guys, we'll move on to the next game. I think this is definitely a top game, really like it, very enjoyable. Definitely one to keep playing and playing until you complete, I think. Okay guys, moving on to Super Painter. And this is probably one of my most favourite games on this cart, strangely enough. There's 16 levels of, I say it's a puzzle painter thing. You're really just trying to paint the certain platforms and then get to the exit. That's pretty much it in simple terms. This is also an S version from Retro Souls. Retro Souls seem to have done quite a lot of the games on this cart. Okay, so here's the first level. In basic terms, you see the grey metal platforms here. You need to paint them. Obviously in this instance it's green. Avoid the enemy and get to the exit. Don't fall off. There we go. Pretty simple to start with to get you used to the controls and what you need to do. But honestly, it does get very hard. Unfortunately, yeah, there was only 16 levels, which is kind of disappointing because once you've played through it, it's quite short. You really think it would be great if there was maybe 100 levels. And that's the only sort of bad point I can think of this game, is the fact it's only 16 levels. Because I really enjoyed it, I wanted to play more, and then it really just ended. Which is a shame because it's absolutely fantastic. It does get a little bit tricky here and there. The controls are pretty tight. Graphically, obviously, it's a little bit basic. It's nice and colourful, right enough. But it's all about the gameplay, I guess. I think I'm not going to get too hung up on graphics when gameplay is this good. Yeah, don't hit those monsters, they will kill you. It's probably one of these games you could certainly use your save states the further you get into the game, so you don't need to completely restart the game. Unless you want to play hardcore and not use them at all. You see the sort of later levels, you sort of get the ice platforms. You can see the bottom ones I've not actually painted, so to speak. You can see there's a lot more going on in this level. It is super hard. It's all about timing and don't slide off. But yeah, fantastic little game. Great. It's a great challenge. I'd definitely recommend this one if you're into your puzzles like me. Oh, and yeah, don't do that. Don't die. Okay guys, that leaves us with Tanzer. Probably the best game on this cart, and probably one of the best games on EverCade. Now let me know if you agree, disagree with that. And it's kind of strange because it's been kind of put onto this cart with very little fanfare. At the time of release it was definitely completely unknown. And it definitely surprises me that it wasn't hyped up as much as it really should have been, considering it's such a decent game. But I think through the grapevine and people playing it, people start to realise this is really an outstanding game. This is obviously on the Genesis Mega Drive, and I'm pretty sure it's not available in any other platform but EverCade, unless you want to actually buy a hard a physical copy of the cart for your Mega Drive. So this game is not really well known out there in the game world. I don't see a lot of people sort of talking about it, so to speak, especially outside Evercade circles, and that's probably a massive shame. This game probably would be great if you've seen it on the Nintendo Switch, Xbox for example. It really is a top game. Now obviously I could be wrong, it could be on there now, but if I recall it's only available on Evercade. Now this actually sells for about $50 as a cart, I think. This makes this cart great value for money. Anyway, without further ado, let's have a quick look at the controls and let's play the game. So you get special attack, jump and attack, very important. It's kind of like a Strider style slash 'em up platforming game. And yeah, it has an absolutely banging soundtrack. Okay guys, so this is Tanzer. It's basically a platforming slash 'em up, pretty much a bit like Strider in a way, and it's definitely one of the better looking games on Evercade, and as a Mega Drive Genesis title it's definitely an outstanding achievement to create such a game like this. It really plays fantastically well. You've got a few different moves, jump and slash. And there are occasions when you sort of jump you become a little bit immune to some of the firepower, so you need to really keep that in mind. And you should take your time going through the levels, because trying to go through the levels extremely quickly, it really just, I mean, you probably die pretty fast, and you only have 3 health bars to start with, and once you sort of lose them it is game over instantly, and it is a very tough, challenging game. But there's no doubt it is technically one of the best looking games, one of the best games on the Evercade in my opinion. It might not be the best game, but it's definitely up there as one of the best, and it should be in everyone's collection, I think. It's fantastic. This is really just the first level, get you used to the sort of gaming mechanics and what to expect through the game. It doesn't really differ a heck of a lot, it's more or less the same. You need to keep your eye on some secret compartments such as here in the first level, and obviously you need to collect those gems, because those gems are quite important to sort of get upgrades at the end of every level. And there are sort of multi stages to each level, you can go in different paths as well, and yeah, you die quite a lot, so what I would suggest is utilise those save states. They are massively important on the Evercade, otherwise you will probably die a lot, go back to the beginning and make very little progress through the game at all. But if you're hardcore, feel free to ignore that and just play it as you would on a Mega Drive. So later on in the level you get a few end of level bosses, and each of them does have some sweet spots where you can probably sit and obviously get hit with less firepower than maybe if you were standing at the front. All of them differ slightly. I've found some of them you really just go behind them, stand and just fire, jump, and you'll eventually actually defeat the unusual bad guy, whatever this is, I have no idea. But later in the game you get some more trickier bosses, and this is one I've never quite got past yet. You obviously need to sort of fire upon the eye there, and it's just ferociously difficult. I've really struggled to get past this, and that is definitely a feature. But there are upgrades, as I said. You can get some different upgrades using the gems that you've actually collected through the game. Some different firepower options, and they do help to a point, but it still is a ferociously tough sort of game. You got fire, stone, water sort of upgrades that might help you at some point, but there's no doubt this is an absolutely top class game. Everyone should definitely try and play it, and yeah, please utilise those save states, because otherwise you will get stuck. You can change your firepower in the pause menu option. Okay guys, so that's the Mega Cat Studios Collection 1. It really is a very good cart. There are a few games now looking back at it that are a little bit disappointing, such as Coffee Crisis and Almost Hero. They're not quite as good as you maybe hoped they would be. Coffee Crisis kind of surprises me. It's it promises a lot, but for me the gameplay falls down a little bit. And Tanzer is no doubt the best game on this cart, if not maybe even the Evercade, arguably. I'm not really sure if it is the best game in Evercade. It's definitely up there, I'm sure. But this is definitely one of these cards you really need to have in your collection. That's for sure. There's some great little games here that are absolutely fantastic. So guys, let me know what you think. Is this cart an EverCade classic? I really think it is. Everyone should own this in their collection. Anyway guys, thanks for watching our video. Please like, subscribe, and we'll catch you again next time. Bye for now.